Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead, and we got a fun show for you guys. We got man, finally return of Saratoga, return of Del Mar. I guess Monmouth is running the big stakes this weekend too. Probably, I believe. Caleb is probably going to say this like I'm going to say over 2.5 times this stream. I mean, this is the only time I look at Monmouth. So I'm sure we'll hear him, I don't know, gripe about something, some local jockey probably has never heard of. But unfortunately for us, the IT guru himself, now his power's out. Caleb, this man makes way too much money working on IT stuff to just have so many IT problems.
I mean, I don't know who's paying him anymore at this point. Just like the guy can't get his internet working or his microphone working at Saratoga. Now he can't even get his lights on. His audio's messed up again. I don't know what we're gonna do with him.
I know he was like he's been jumping in and out, and he had like one of those nice big, what do they call them, Adirondack chairs or whatever, those those outdoor chairs, and he's just like living his mountain man life over there, and apparently that includes no internet or power. But hopefully he'll get the candles on, and we'll get him to join here in a second. How excited are you for Del Mar to come back? I know Papa Knight's definitely excited.
Dad is thrilled. Dad loves. He probably likes California racing as much, if not perhaps more, than New York. So and I think it's maybe just like a time of day when they run thing. It's just more convenient. So for him, he's psyched. But honestly, I'm pretty psyched too, because after Belmont or whatever finishes up for the past couple of weeks, maybe month or so. I mean, I don't bet low sal thoroughbred. I don't find it very formful. I just don't make sense to me. So 4 or 5 o'clock comes around, there's nothing to bet unless I'm really going to reach deep into the bag of tricks and start betting some C and D tier tracks. So Saratoga's here, which is awesome. Del Mar allows you to degen all day. So this is the best time of the year for horse players outside of maybe Derby and Breeders' Cup. So really excited. The Del Mar card tomorrow for Friday looks absolutely stacked. I mean, there's 13, 14 horse fields in every race. So it's going to be fun.
I know when, there was all the big name stakes coming up this weekend. So part of me was like, man, I almost just want to talk that Friday Del Mar card because there was just so many horses. But, I saw our good friend Chase and writer Dave. They did their podcast talking about it. So I figured let's not do too much overlap. But I will definitely be firing away tomorrow night. It should be fun. But the mountain man himself, Mark Capitan.
I have no idea if anything's working right now. So I had to... What?
You sound great.
Really?
You sound amazing. What happened? Did you do something different?
That's through my Surface Pro. Yeah. Okay. That's Surface Pro audio quality, man.
He unplugged it and plugged it back in.
That's what I did. Yeah. I am on a Wi-Fi hotspot on my cell phone and still have no power. And National Grid decided that, hey, we fixed your power issue, but they didn't fix our power issue. So they removed us from the thing. So now we're calling them back to get added back to the list. I may have power. Who knows?
Oh, God. You're going to the track tomorrow, Mark?
I will. That was not the plan. No, I think I was going to be in the office. It's going to be disgustingly hot the next 3 days up here. We're calling for weather, mid 90s. It's just going to be nasty.
Yeah, I would not want to be without air conditioning right now. And I know I saw a couple of people who were on track today just talking about how awful, how humid and stuff it's been the past couple of days. So, hopefully you get that AC on because yeah, Caleb was with semi-working AC for like a week, and I don't know. I saw a little bit of Papa Knight coming out there. I mean, thank God the AC people don't call themselves geniuses. Otherwise, I think Caleb might have blown a gasket like old Papa Knight there. Yeah, Nick Feldman saying that Del Mar's even more exciting this year because there's no Pratt. Might get some really good prices on horse if Pratt was riding. You would not normally. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Rispoli, even though he had a lackluster year last year, I felt like he kind of had a pretty good Del Mar still. So, well, it's going to be interesting to see if he kind of turns it back on here when everything starts back up at Del Mar. But yeah, the fact that Pratt's not going to be around is definitely going to be a big difference. Dave saying, how are you supposed to know who wins if Pratt isn't riding? Well, Dave, I will tell you, there were two certainties, right? Who is Pratt riding, and if Caleb likes or dislikes the Juan Hernandez horse, you just do the opposite. Those are generally the ways that we would handicap Del Mar. And it looks like, oh yeah, Flo's going to be at Del Mar for the meet. And it's probably going to fit him pretty well, I think. I think it's going to be a good change for him. Is it Flo? I thought it was Julian.
No, I think we got stuck with Julian. I'll meet up here in New York.
Saratoga. Okay, I remember one of them was going over. It is Flo. Okay, I'm gonna trust Nick, because I'm one of those idiots that I need a piece of paper in front of me before I know what the heck is going on with any race. But why don't we just kind of jump into it here? We're going to start with Del Mar. We're only going to talk about this one stakes race at Del Mar, the San Clemente, and then we're going to kind of move on through Saratoga's couple stakes, and then touch on Monmouth a little bit. But if you guys see anything or want us to look at anything, like I said, just send a note in chat, and we'll do our best to accommodate here. But yeah, San Clemente, 1 mile on the turf for 3-year-old fillies. If this is what Del Mar is going to be like all summer, this is going to be just an exceptional betting product. You got a full field of 13 horses in this race. Looks like your favoritism is going to be the 6 Bella Bell at 4-1 with Umberto Rispoli aboard. Caleb, as the resident, non-resident California expert, where did you land in this race?
Yeah, so this is a race, and this is going to be a theme for like most of the stream for me, unfortunately, is that I thought that a lot of these races looked a little bit chalky. I thought that the 6-year Bella Bell made a ton of sense. I mean, this was probably the horse to beat in this field. I mean, that being said, is this a horse that I'm going to single in this race? No, it's not. But her last race on time form came back extremely fast, especially when you consider the fact that was in January 2nd. So she was basically still a 2-year-old at that point and put together a very fast race. We're now in July. So any improvement on that effort for Bella Bell or any expected move forward here. And I think she's going to be a handful for these horses to try to run down. She definitely has some tactical speed to her advantage. Rispoli more than likely had pick of the litter for a number of these Phil D'Amato horses and among a few others. And he ends up here. So I think this horse is very live. It's a horse that I'm going to certainly include on all my tickets. I thought there was probably 3 or 4 others that you could use, but I'm curious to see if anyone had any other thoughts on Bella Bell first.
I'm going to let the resident. Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to let the resident Rispoli lover talk about this horse real quick.
No, I thought Bella Bell made a lot of sense in here. Seems to be a horse that, obviously picks up the mount from Pratt. The long layoff is a bit of a concern here. She's been gone for quite a while, but, I don't, D'Amato has these normally ready to go off these longer layoffs. I thought the other horse that made a lot of sense in here was the 8 Island of Love. Your other D'Amato horse, and a horse that has been running pretty well, kind of keeping this type of company. Seems like the trip's kind of appropriate. Juan Hernandez stays here. He looks like he had some other options he could have gone without, in this race. And I thought Island of Love made, quite a bit of sense in this spot as well. I mean, those are the 2 that jumped off the page at me. So if Caleb think that those are both live horses. It's better than I'm normally doing at Del Mar because I always have troubles out here.
Do you like this horse, Caleb?
The 8, I do. Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, good thing I'm
Okay,
tossing this horse out.
we can
It's
single
a
the 6 and move
toss.
on.
It's
Yeah.
a toss.
So I
Go
wanted
ahead.
to ask our resident. Sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to talk on top of you. Our resident Del Mar expert here, Lady T, the John Serif's horse, the one horse. What did you make of her in here? I mean, she has pedigree that says she should be able to handle the turf. She's got a ton of early speed. She should be really forwardly placed with Victor up. But I hate betting a horse, especially in a stakes when they're doing something for the first time ever. Is this a horse that makes a lot of sense in here? And kind of where's the value line on this one, where she could steal this on the front end?
There's no shot Caleb likes this horse.
I have it written down, but she's probably my 4th or 5th pick in this race. But I mean, I think Mark asks the right question: is that what? First off, like, what do you think of this horse doing turf for the first time? She does bring a lot of speed with an inside draw to a field that really doesn't have any other clear-cut speed. I mean, there's some horses that like to be somewhat forward, but would have to expect this one horse to be on, if not just off the pace. But my biggest gripe with her is I think she's going to be a shorter price. No one in this field, I think, will be short, but I think Lady T will be in the 5-1, 6-1 range. She'll probably be 3rd or 4th pick on the board. And, trying turf for the first time. I mean, she has 5 second place finishes from 7 career starts. Seems to be a bit of a hanger, maybe. And just taking to the turf for the first time. This is a horse that I respect, and I could see her stealing it on the lead, perhaps, but I'm not convinced that she's going to be worth a bet at the price she's going to go off.
I'm actually kind of surprised looking at Brisnet just how positive all the John Sheriff stats are on this move. Just because I don't think of John Sheriffs as a turf trainer, but I also don't follow California racing super closely, so
that was the other thing I kind of a bit of a qualm for me. I mean, first time turf, I see him as 0% out of 13 tries. Dirt to turf, he's an 8% trainer. He's an okay turf trainer, but I think the move to turf for him, my guess with those types of stats is that it's more of a desperation, last chance, sort of Baffert putting a horse on turf, right? Like, he's doing it not because he's a turf trainer, he's doing it because there's no one else to do with a horse, and that seems to be the line. Now, I don't know if that's the case or not. Again, I don't follow California racing enough to really be able to give a super smart take there, but that was sort of what I assumed.
I'm actually going to be on the 11, the 5, the 2, and the 1.
So Josh is deeper
just
than
because that's what Matthew Bickey likes. He's embarrassed us the last 2 weeks. So I think I might just shut up and just keep this up for about 30 seconds instead of talking. He says that a couple of his favorite data things say 13 as well. So those are some prices, I believe. Yeah. I don't think there's he doesn't talk about the 2 horses I like. I think, Caleb, you've already talked the 6, and I saw Nick Feldman. He also says he likes the 4, which is I think it's probably going to be my top pick in this race. Now, I know if you kind of look at speed figures, obviously the horse is a little bit slower. The horse is also not run since the November Del Mar meet, which I know is a little bit of a weaker competition than the summer Del Mar meet. But still, the horse is 2 for 2 at Del Mar. Peter Miller also coming off the long layoff here with Ramon Vasquez aboard. Ramon new to the California scene this year. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought kind of looking at some of the run styles in this race, I wanted a horse coming from off the pace. I thought the 6 fit very, very well pace-wise in this spot. And I think the 4 has just got a very similar run style. And I think if you get the normal 2 to 3 improvement, which is not a guarantee, I think that that this horse is going to be right there. And I think you're going to get a little bit more value on this horse than Umberto or than the 6 Bella Bell. However, this is going to be kind of a price-dependent play. Obviously, if we're talking single race bets or doubling in or out of this race, I just don't know what kind of money this horse is going to take because I think people are going to see this 2 for 2 at Del Mar, and they're going to see this big old Peter Miller right here. and thinking that he's going to be coming out firing. So, what are your guys' thoughts here on the 4 horse? Because I know, like I said, Nick Feldman also likes it.
I like the 4. I have the 4 down as definitely probably the third pick from mine in the race after the 6 and the 8 horse here. And I think, I have nothing really to add. I mean, horse for course, Peter Miller. I mean, the horse is sharp. If she comes back fit off the long layoff, yeah, she's a huge player in here. I have nothing to add really.
Mark, you got anything?
I got nothing else smart to add. This is a race that if you like a price or you like an outsider, there's a lot of different ways you could go in here. Obviously, real deep race, real competitive field. Should be a really good one to watch and a really fun one to bet through.
I do like the fact that Matthew says he also likes the 4 by the numbers. Tops in the bunch. The layoff kind of concerns him a bit. Good chat as always going in between our viewers here. Charles B saying that the layoff isn't a problem. They saved the horse for the meet. And then Matthew, of course, being the analytical person he is, looked up the race type and condition. 1 for 2 lasts for 2 years. So small sample size, but
yeah,
always good to see that kind of stuff.
I also wanted to touch on another horse that I think Matthew mentioned, the 5. That was actually, this is the one price horse that I think I can make the case for. The 5 and the 2, I think are both interesting in here. Countess, Rosina, and then Gemmine. I think the 5 is the one who gets lost on the board, just given some of the lower profile connections and the fact that she was beaten by the 2 in each of her last 2 starts. But if you look at those races, she definitely had the worst of the trips in those 2 races, where she was bumped twice at the start in both of her last 2 events. She was crazy wide at Santa Anita trying to sprint and just couldn't quite get the job done. And then, last time out, again, she had some trouble. And when she finally got clear, she was flying late. So I don't really know that I trust Valdivia to give her the ride that she might need to win this race. But I think she's a horse that's going to get really overlooked on the board and could actually show up at a big price.
That's Belmont Stakes winning jockey Jose Valdivia Jr. So put some respect on the name. And if this was at the Starbucks, he would be on the favorite in this race. So I did see that Nick did mention one other horse. He liked Miss Maddie B. What horse is that?
I don't see that horse on the run race.
I think he's on the wrong race. What is he talking about?
Oh, he's talking about the 7, but the 7 looks like is going to scratch.
Yeah, she's not in the PPs. Yeah,
I don't see her. Yeah.
So you must be looking at earlies. So because it looks like she's not even in here. I was like trying to look for that horse, like looking, and I was like, did I just miss it or something? Okay. Matthew saying, I thought Peter Miller retired. That was a very very interesting retirement, to say the least.
Retired, then unretired, and I think that was sort of the get the feds off your case for a bit, right?
Well, I do know. Who's the guy who took over his barn?
Ruben
Alvarado. Yeah, I think Ruben still has a couple of horses. I think some owners ended up sticking with him, if I remember correctly. So, Matthew saying he knows that Caleb thought this race might be chalky, but he did some adjustments around some bet mix stuff, it looks like, and he says that 9 horses qualify here. So, I think that the morning line looks pretty flat. When your favorite's 4-1 and you got, most of the field between 4-1 and 8-1, I think it's a pretty flat. It's about as flat as racing nowadays gets. So I we'll see what the public thinks, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing to kind of have in your back pocket, because if you see 1 or 2 horses that just kind of fall way out of your value line, you might find something there. But anything else on Del Mar? I see Nick. It's funny, Nick Feldman talking about this 10. I looked at this 10 and I tried to make a case for the 10, and then I'm just like, this horse just is a complete hanger. So I couldn't get there. And then I saw Tiago aboard, So, I mean, this is like the 4th or 5th D'Amato horse in this race. So
Yeah.
I kind of stuck to my guns. Those are the ones, but yeah, I mean the Del Mar card looks great. I mean, huge fields both Friday and Saturday. It's gonna be fun to see that many horses running and in California, and we'll see if it holds out through the meet. Let's go ahead and move on over to Saratoga. Saratoga, we got a couple of stakes races here. We're going to talk first about the Coaching Club American Oaks. This used to be at Belmont, right? This is one of the ones that they switched.
It is one of the ones. No, CCA Oaks has always been at Saratoga.
Oh, has it? What was the one I'm thinking of then?
Jockey Club.
Jockey Club. Thank
you. Gold Cup. Yeah, that's the one that flopped with the Woodward.
But yeah, mile and the 8th here for 3-year-old fillies. Your morning line favorite is going to be even money on Nest here. Secret Oath is 6-5, and then 8-1, 10-1 on the rest. Very uninteresting race from a betting perspective. Mark, you were going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I know we love to beat these 5-horse fields to death. Nest wins this in a laugher next race. I mean, is there really a lot more to say to it than that?
Caleb wants to say something.
All I want to do is bitch about the field sizes, so Mark and you can finish.
I already dug on the field size here. Yeah, I mean, you would have loved to have seen a few more horses show up. You would have loved to see some more of the Kentucky Oaks contenders come here. I mean, I really this race has been a bit soft the past few years. There haven't been those bigger fields and more of those horses you want to see, and I just think it's another situation where that happened, and I would love to go find somebody else besides Nest, but I have a really hard time doing so.
I mean, it's tough, right? Because you got easily two of like the top 3 or 4 3-year-old fillies in this race, right? In a field of 5, but you got a field of 5, so it's just kind of, unfortunately for Secret Oath is, I mean, if there was at least like, I don't know, give me 1 or 2 more horses in this race, and at least one of them show a little bit of pace, and maybe I can get there. But it's just, I don't know, pace wise, I don't see. The only way I see Nest losing this race is somehow, some way, one of these other horses just gets loose on the front end and doesn't stop. But even then, I mean, give me a break, right? Like these aren't even like G2 type horses, right? G2 type speedball or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, this
again, I think you're hoping that somebody develops into the fall and you get some new fresh faces here. But you'd hope to have a little bit of a better betting race.
I mean, can anybody win except for Nest or Secret Oath? I mean, Mark, you think it's only Nest. I mean, Josh, do you think anyone else has a shot? Is it between those two? Is it a 1-horse race?
No, I would probably be interested in just playing like Nest over maybe like Society if I were going to play a single race bet.
Yeah.
Like and just think that Society gets out there on the front end and maybe Nest just sits off, and I mean Nest has got early speed. So I mean even Nest might, if Society doesn't go, Nest might just take the lead and just go. So
I agree with you guys. Nest is probably a deserving favorite in here over Secret Oath, but it's not like Secret Oath didn't take her lunch money to back when they met. What makes y'all so confident it's going to be different this Saturday?
I guess my take is that I think that Nest has improved a little bit since then, and I think Secret Oath has sort of been a little bit, I don't want to say flat, but she probably hasn't taken that next step forward. I think just at this point in their careers, Nest is a better animal. Maybe Secret Oath does take that step forward here, and but I mean I'll have Secret Oath somehow in tickets depending on what they are. But I mean, on a double or a pick 3, something like that, I'll just single Nest. But something like a pick 5, I would hate to, get to the payout leg and, second choice booms you off from a nice score where you had a good opinion someplace else.
But you're not playing pick 5s.
That is true. I have yet to play a pick 5 this Saratoga meet.
Yeah, for me, I really like Secret Oath. But her 2 races against the boys have been a bit head scratchers for me because it looks like she's been just absolutely loaded coming out of the turn in both of those races. And in both of those races, she flattens out so bad. So I don't know if it's like a distance thing, although she clearly handled the distance in the Oaks. Maybe it's just a competition thing. I don't know what the deal is with Secret Oath. I have like a personal, desire, and I'm no trainer, but I really think she could be a phenomenal, like 1-turn mile kind of horse because I think she just has a devastating late kick. But I've seen her flatten out a couple times now. That makes me a little bit hesitant to back her, especially if she's going to have to start this race from pretty much last and pass the whole field, including Nest, to get the job done. It just feels like a tall ask. So I agree with you guys. I think Nest is the play, but I probably wouldn't sell Secret Oath quite as short as maybe you guys are.
I mean, honestly, the fact that this race is in the early pick 5 makes me just not want to play it. Because I kind of see it the same way that you do. Like, could I see Secret Oath winning this? Yes, but like, you can't take the two horses like that. Like in the 5-horse field, like unless you just got like 20 to 1s in every other leg that you want to use. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
this is just
you definitely can. It just depends on what your opinions are on other sequence. I mean, I know this whole deal. Oh, there's 2 short horse priced favorites in in a 5-horse field. You have to pick one. I think that's a stupid way to play. If you have opinions other places, now if you're simply oh geez, I'm using the logicals every place. Yeah, then you probably do have to pick one of the 2. But if you have opinions and you're you can make a logical case for some prices and you can find some value, it's totally fine to take both. I won't here, but I think
okay. Well, I'm just letting you know I did trigger the defensive team. I don't know why, but that speech triggered the defensive team.
Yeah, I think what Steven said in chat makes a lot of sense. If you're doing that, pick one that you have more coverage to, and pick one you have less coverage to. Lever up one of those opinions. I think that's a valid way to play it. A lot of ways to make money. I think this idea of you have to base bet all the time, and then you have to you have to do these sorts of things is just kind of stupid.
No, I mean Matthew. I think Matthew's saying disagree. I mean that's what I'm saying is you have to pick one, and I think the one that you pick is Nest. I'm not gonna sit here and like Secret Oath wins and be like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. Like I don't know, something stupid happens and there's a little bit more pace. But like I said, I'm looking at it from a pace perspective. I feel like Secret Oath's best races have had some type of pace in front of her, and she's just not gonna get, I think, what she needs, and I think Ness is just going to get first jump on this. Like, I don't know. That's at least the way I see it.
Yeah, these kind of races are always more interesting to talk about from a how you're going to bet it perspective than actually how the race sets up from a handicapping angle.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, my thinking behind using a horse like Society underneath is, I mean, just this. I mean, hey, you hope the horse gets out in the front end and Ness passes her, and Secret Oath finishes third. Like, I don't know. But
Society gives me like real heavy We the People vibes. Like, looks like obvious loan speed. I mean, it probably maybe isn't that good, and like everyone's going to see it, but like horse are going to run a dud. I mean, I think it's too obvious. I don't think the horse is going to show up, but we'll see.
Yeah, and also right now the Asmussen barn is about as cold as it can be. None of his 3 starters so far this meet have really run at all. And also Gaff is riding about as poorly as a jockey ever can. So that combination doesn't really, make me more interested.
Yeah, Trey saying that Nest is the only good single. That's kind of like say the way I see it, but I don't see myself putting any money through this race really. I don't even think I'll play the early pick 5. So, and Nick Feldman kind of talking about the exacta play. If that's something that you're comfortable doing, you want to do, I think that is the way to attack this race. And Matthew saying like, yeah, what he lives for is a race like this, but where he likes the longest shot on the board, and that is the single. Yeah, I mean, anytime you're against the public and you can be narrow, I think is as plus EV as you can possibly get in any type of situation. So, yeah, this is a perfect $20 to $30 skinny pick 5. Yeah, the old contrarian play. Just hey, take the 2 longest shots in here and screw the rest of them. I hear it. But yeah, I think Caleb, you said it best. It's more fun to talk about how to bet it than actually look at the race. So let's talk about one that's a little bit more interesting. Race 10, the Caress. We're going to be going 5.5 furlongs for fillies and mares, 4-year-old and up. I believe Caravel is going to be your favorite here in the one hole at 5-2. And once again, we got a nice field here. We got 10 horses. Mark, how did you see this one?
Oh man, so I have a love-hate relationship, and it's a lot more hate than love with Caravel. It consistently been on the wrong side of this horse for I don't know how many starts. Every time I try to fade Caravel, she wins, and every time I'm interested in her, she's doesn't do shit. So, I just can't get on the right side of her, and I'm going to toss her. So you guys can probably all single her. I think in here somebody like a Star Divine I thought was really super interesting. She's been running really well as of late. Probably cuts back the proper distance, and she's 1-for-1 over the Saratoga surface. And I'm trying to remember who else I was on here. I don't have my master pick sheet. Oh yeah, the other horse I was really interested in here is the 6, Robin Sparkles. Appears to be the speed on paper. She does like Saratoga, and I know Caleb is going to tell me she's not fast enough, and that when she gets into a tough race and gets headed, she stops, which she does. But I do find Robin Sparkles a little interesting here, probably because we did breed her.
Caleb, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to say that she's not fast enough, and anytime that she goes against harder competition, she stops. Mark,
That's
Mark,
right.
you got to quit. You got to quit betting Robin Sparkles. I literally saw her on the PPs, and I said, "Not today, not today, Robin Sparkles, not today." All right, so she is not going to be anywhere.
And this is Josh not taking the cheap speed.
Yeah. Oh.
But one of these
Sparkles.
times she's going to decide that she's going to get brave in the lane, right? Like it's got to happen eventually.
Oh, dude, I was all.
It probably doesn't happen, but
I was all over her in that. It wasn't the Monmouth race. What race was it? Shit, it might have been this race last year that I was all over her, and just nothing. Caleb, what did you see?
Yeah, so I was kind of in the same boat as Mark when it came to Caravel. I think she's probably the best horse in the race, but my kind of hesitation with her is that she's somewhat transitioned into a bit of a need to lead runner lately, not doing a whole lot of passing since this race last year. And, I'm a little skeptical that Gaff's going to be able to work out a stalking trip from the rail. So I'm kind of inclined to fade Caravel in this spot, just given the post and the likely pace dynamics, where Robin Sparkles is the speed of speed. There is other speed involved. And for the first week of the meet anyway, speed has not been very good on turf sprints. Closers and pressers have been doing a lot better than your actual leaders in these turf sprints, which is surprising. But maybe the weather will change that by this weekend. But I kind of looked at 2 other off-the-pace runners. The first one is one who I think Nick brings up is number 5, Toby's Heart. I do sort of wish that I had a different jockey on board, but I do think this race really fits for Toby's Heart. This is a horse who, A, loves 5.5 furlongs, is 4-for-4 at this distance, including 1 win here at Saratoga. And B, kind of struggles to put 2 good races together. I mean, if you look at the wins, she's never really backed up a win with another win. So I'm not totally shocked by the fact that she didn't really show up last time, especially when she kind of missed the break and had to check up. So I do like Toby's Heart in here. I think she gets the right pace set up and will be coming on strongest late. I respect Mark's pick of Star Divine, but she might be on a ticket of mine. But the other horse who I wanted to talk about a little bit as well is the number 7, Lady Edith. So that's another horse who's exiting that Intercontinental. That was a race that was pretty much dominated on the lead. Obviously, Caravel went wire to wire that day. Star Divine pretty much followed her around the track, always within a length. So I thought both Toby's Heart and Lady Edith made nice runs to make up some ground, pass a few horses, and run pretty well. That was her first start in about 6 months, so I'm expecting her to be a little bit sharper here, second off the layoff. Trevor McCarthy has not been riding outstanding, but if you're going to use that for your logic in this race, it gets difficult because most of your big jocks are either in Monmouth or otherwise shipped out for Haskell Day or wherever else. So, your Irads and Jose's and Rosario's, I guess Irad is here, but Jose and Rosario and a few of the other jocks who have won a vast majority of the races so far aren't here. So somebody has to pick up the pieces. I think that Lady Edith and Toby's Heart both make some sense.
Yeah, and T-Mac was on our last time out, so he should know the horse and have a fairly good understanding of her. The other comment, Caleb, was, I think on the turf sprints, I will agree with you. Speed had not been good, but we saw the one on the undercard today get wired, so it does seem like speed was a little better. I don't know if that was the deluge. We got a little, I mean, at least at my place, we got an inch and a quarter of rain. I don't know how much they got at Saratoga. I don't know if that made kickback a little worse and maybe made speed a little bit better, but I do think that the track did play wonky the first 3 or 4 days of the meet. Seems to be kind of settling down and playing more classic Saratoga, where in these 5.5 furlong turf sprints you do want to be on the engine.
I got a question for you, Caleb, and maybe the chat as well. Does anyone else think that Mark looks like he's like in the old Nickelodeon episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
He does. He has like a little flashlight to like illuminate his face up.
Light my face up.
Okay. Oh, man.
Actually, you can probably just end it. This one, actually, you could just stream from here all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this look, it's got to help, right? So.
Oh, God. Yeah, I had the same skepticism about Caravel as you guys did. So we don't really have to go too in depth to that. I will say my top pick in this race is fucking Mark Cassie horse. I like the 8 Super Sensational.
Gross.
Have you watched any races at Saratoga yet this meet, Josh?
Huh?
Have you actually watched a race at Saratoga?
Yeah.
This meet? Has a single Cassie horse actually done any running at all?
No, but
okay. This probably check all the way back to Belmont, honestly.
I don't know. I like that effort last out. The grade 2 over at Woodbine. Shipping in here. I know he always ships in a couple of horses, and often with very mixed results. But I'm not going to let Mark, who was trashing Ricardo Santana Jr.'s just his turf riding, and then all of a sudden gets boomed by him coming off the pace. So what was that? Early, was that last week or was that this week?
No, it was this week. It was yesterday.
Yeah. So hey, Caleb, that's that RSJ horse that you liked. Coming off the pace, I think it might fit.
There we go.
I don't know. I just thought that this horse has got a grade 3 win. Obviously, it was on the dirt, but her synthetic race, going way back to 2020, as well as the effort in the Royal North. I mean, they both look really good. They were both pretty solid. You're kind of getting a new shooter here. You get Dylan Davis aboard, who has just been riding lights out this week, and with a lot of the jocks. I know Caleb, you talked about it. I saw Charles mentioned it. A lot of the jocks not being here. I mean, yeah, you still have Irad, but Dylan Davis can ride with everybody else outside. He embarrassed a couple of people today, as Mark noted. So, I'm going to take a shot with a bit of an outsider here, the 8 Super Sensational. And I did also see that Matthew Bickey also likes the 8. I don't know. I only looked at Brisnet, and we're lining up a little bit here, even though I was joking earlier. Nick really loves Toby Hart. Nick's got like 7 messages out there, I think, talking about Toby's Heart. So
I don't dislike Toby's Heart. I think Caleb also mentioned Toby's Heart as well. It's just going to be really trip dependent, I think, for Toby's Heart. And I don't know if Santana is the jock I would most trust to get a winning trip in in this race. I guess that's my one big gripe. On figures, horse makes makes some sense. Would probably need to run about a career best time form wise to win this, but has every right to handle the surface, handle the going. Does have a win across the surface. Yeah, I'm not going to beat anyways up on Toby's Heart. And the horse, obviously, this is the distance. This is what Toby's Heart wants to be doing.
I mean, I don't think I'll beat anyone up but Toby's Heart, but I will definitely beat up people but Robin Sparkles. Any other horses that kind of piqued your interest in here, Caleb? Or
no, we pretty much covered them. I had the I had the 3, 5, and 7 is kind of the horse that I was going to use the most, and then the one obviously is one we need to talk about. But that's kind of all that I really had in here.
Matthew pointing out Cassie 5 for 49 since start of Saratoga last summer. Concerning.
Yeah, concerning is a word for it. Yeah, his barn has been absolutely ice cold, and it's not even like he's had some horses that definitely took money. I think he's actually had a couple favorites, and they just didn't run a step. Like none of his horses run a step at all.
I believe our good friend Sheldon has a saying.
Yeah, I think Sheldon likes to say, "No one has done less with more."
That's pretty fair.
And I think that's very fair.
But yeah, so Caleb, you before we move on to Monmouth, you were doing a little shit talk earlier, talking about the Saratoga card. You think the Del Mar card's better, huh?
But I mean, from a betting perspective, by a mile. From a quality perspective, I think it's probably Saratoga or maybe a toss-up. But yeah, I'm getting annoyed, like really annoyed with Saratoga or not Saratoga, but Naira and these bullshit fields. And I don't know, I'm not saying it's Naira's fault because all they can do is card the races, right? But it's after Belmont Stakes Day being such a huge letdown with the 5 and 6 horse grade ones over and over, and then we're seeing it here in the CCA Oaks. It's disappointing. It's disappointing, and we get 5 horse fields, we get 6 horse fields, and 4 of them are Chad Browns and 3 from Peter Brandts. And it's bad when you make California racing look like the best betting product on the market right now. But truthfully, that's what Del Mar's put out this weekend. So props to Del Mar, shame on Naira, do better.
Yeah, Matthew saying, "Ouch." And yet Hall of Famer talking about Mark Casse. Yeah, no, I mean Mark Casse's fucking forgotten more about horse racing than I probably know. So, and I will say one thing about Mark Casse. I had one small interaction with him when we were at Kentucky Downs, and he was just super gracious, and he basically talked to anybody who came up to him. So, and he's just kind of got that. I mean, I don't know. I think he's kind of got that salesman in him, which I think most horse trainers do. But he was nice. I mean, him, Asmussen, they both talked to a couple of guys in our group. So, but he has been cold. That's fact. 5 for 49. Yeah, let's move on and take a look at Monmouth. Now, Caleb, how much Monmouth do you play?
Counting tomorrow or counting Saturday? No.
Yes. Okay. So, are you saying that this is the only time that you ever bet Monmouth?
I don't even think I'll bet Monmouth, but this is the only time I look at Monmouth.
Well,
I would have to give credit where it's due. Once again, I mean, granted, it's their big day. To be fair, better card than Saratoga. I mean, Haskell's a better race than the CCA. I mean, the Molly Pitcher's a nice little race. United Nations came up competitive, and Saratoga has the 4-hero horse Shuvi on Sunday, as someone in chat pointed out. So I'll give them credit. At least they're putting out a somewhat competitive product, even if it is a shithole racetrack.
Oh yeah, I saw the Shuvi. It was like Malathaat. Yeah, it was
Malathaat, Claire Air, and a couple of also rans.
Yeah, might be a match race, but yeah, let's talk United Nations here. Mile and 3/8 on the turf. I believe this is a win and you're in. Maybe not. I thought it was. Maybe it's not. But once again, man, we're getting these huge fields. We got 10 horses in this race, and it looks like your favorite's going to be the 4 Tributhan, who just boomed. Well, he boomed the shit out of me last time he ran at Belmont. I did not see that.
Pick 6, my 2-day pick 6. I think he boomed everything.
I didn't see that. I didn't see him coming. And honestly, the funny thing about that is that is what really got me believing in that Churchill Downs bias, that those horses coming back that were on the lead, that the times that they actually ran on the turf at Churchill, I mean, a lot of them came back to run really well, and that was a time that really got me thinking about it. But I don't know, from a quick look at the pace, I thought that maybe someone might challenge Tributhan up there. You got a lot of these, long shot, cheaper horses, and I don't know. I think maybe he gets a little bit of pace pressure. This isn't New York, although a lot of the New York jocks are traveling over. But I believe if my memory serves me right, isn't Paco on this too? No, Sammy Camacho's on the two. So I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just hoping that there's going to be a little bit of pace in here, and my boy my boy Gufo here can turn the tables. Hasn't really gotten any type of pace to run into the last two times out. So we're hoping that maybe we get a little bit of pace. We get a little bit more pace here to run into. I don't know. I was just trying to find some other way to get around Tripithan here, but if Tripithan gets out there on an easy lead, it's going to be really, really hard to stop. But Caleb,
So
go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say, I don't think he does get out on an early lead. I think somebody, at least on time for him, has Carpenter's Call as being a fair bit, faster, and I would imagine they probably have to go. I don't really know what other choice they have. So, my thought is, I don't think Trib gets a super early lead, but he's clearly the classiest of the speed horses in this race.
Caleb, how did you see this?
So I do think Trib gets loose. I mean, I know Time Form thinks the two's faster. Maybe based on raw times, that might be the case. But two came from off the pace last time. Sat a stalking trip and then produced a career best race essentially. I have a hard time imagining the connections of the two think that their most likely chance to win is to go head and head with Tribavon on the lead, put him away, and then hold off the closers while stepping way up in class. I struggle to think that's going to be the game plan. I think they'll be very happy to sit second, make a move. If they can't catch him and they run second or third, then that's fine too. I think Trib gets pretty loose here. My question with him is that he's not the most consistent sort, as Nick said in the chat. And again, you had him at 19-1 last out. It feels a little bit bad to take him at 2-1 here, but I think he is probably your most likely winner between the two second and third co-favorites, I guess you would say. I much prefer the 1 as opposed to the 10. So I much prefer Adamo over Gufo. Adamo had a bit of a troubled trip in that Manhattan. He stayed inside the whole time trying to ride the rail. And Pratt was just a little bit too patient, I think. He never really got clear until essentially inside the 8th pole. And he was finishing best of all of any of the horses that were coming on late. Gufo looked to be making the bigger run, but as soon as Adamo got clear, Gufo was never going by. So I thought he probably had some more left in the tank there. I thought it was a bad ride by Flavian. So I think that if somebody does go with Tribavon, I think I don't want to go way to the outside with Gufo and a horse who's burned some money in his time. I prefer to stay to the inside to Adamo instead.
So you're telling me that you want the jock that was too patient, who gets aboard again. You think second time's a charm?
The third time, but yeah.
How did you see it, Mark? You love the 1, don't you?
No, I absolutely hate the 1. I think I've gotten to the point where, I realized that Trib got just dumb loose last time out and whatever, but this is a horse that's 4 for 14 lifetime. And the horse hasn't won since, spring of, his 3-year-old campaign at Longchamp. I just don't really know. The horse cashes checks, but just kind of never gets it done and doesn't really have that finishing punch. I don't want to call this one a fake Chad, but this feels like a horse. Chad has had a few of these who come over from Europe, and they consistently finish top 3 in 5-horse fields, but in cash checks, but they just kind of never get it done. He's, and that happens, it is what it is. I ended up, I kind of ended up on the 2 favorites on Tribufan and Gufo. I thought they both made a ton of sense. I didn't really find anybody else here that I was interested in betting. And honestly, I think the race kind of sucks. Like, I thought it was a really hard race to find horses that I was really interested in betting. And it kind of, for me, deterred from me really wanting to play the sequence. Again, if somebody has an opinion here, there's some horses in here that are prices. I thought the 5 was a little interesting as a horse for course who's won 2 straight and getting better. No way, shape, or form is he fast enough on paper to get this done. But kind of an interesting horse to clunk up underneath. But I found this race really hard. I just felt like I was eating chalk, and I'm trying to get better in my old age about not doing that and just avoiding sequences where I have no legit opinions. I probably deserve that.
Yeah, I mean, I know. The only other horse I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit was Kentucky Ghost, and once again, this is just I don't know. This is just hey, a horse that's got some late kick has won a race here at Monmouth. Is going to be stretching out a little bit and hasn't run at this distance before. You get flow aboard, so you know that this horse isn't going to be anywhere near the front end. So I don't know. I thought that this horse was a little interesting. Probably more of an underneath play. The horse does like to cash checks. They tried running him in the Sycamore, and that didn't work out well. And then I don't know, he ended up getting banned off in the Turf Classic, but then came back and ran a nice race here a couple months back. So coming off the layoff, I don't know. This was just kind of a horse, won his last start out, has a local win, and just me trying to look for something other outside of, just, hey, taking the 10. And really, this is kind of more of a, all right, if I think the 10 in the race flow fits, what if he doesn't fire? What other horse might be able to kind of pick up the pieces? And that's kind of where I landed on the 8 as kind of the second best closer, second or third best closer in the race. I think you'll get a price. I don't know fast enough to win this race, but this might be one of key underneath and exactas and tries. But Charles says his top pick. So it says Equibase, top speed number in Equibase. So he's gonna.
I mean, Kentucky Ghost is gonna definitely get a pace set up in here. It's that situation of you get to what happened with Trib last out, where there's just a ton of speed, a massive gap, and just way too much to do late, and everybody misreads it. I don't know. Maybe nobody thought enough of Trib or the Chad Brown barn at that point, and that happened. I don't think that happens this time. I think the Jock Colony is going to be a little smarter, not let Trib get as stupid loose as he did last out, and yeah, I mean, does Kentucky Ghost make some sense? Totally. It's a horse that definitely on his best day can be a player in here. But I think again, you can make that case for a lot of this field.
Yeah, Matthew once again saying the 8's also his top pick. He likes the 8, 9, 7, and 10 here.
I'm surprised at the love for the 8. I mean, sure, the horse I guess maybe could show up, but it would be a surprise to me. I'll just leave it at that. Someone mentioned the 3 Temple. That's the horse I thought might be the one you go to if you don't want to use all the chalk. I mean, there's a couple races in this horse that probably do win today. Not sure totally what happened last time. I mean, maybe a mile and a half is a bit too far. But anyone give Temple much of a chance in here?
Oh, here we go. Sorry, I was looking for the comment.
Yeah, I mean, Temple's a horse that, again, on his best day as a player in here, I think if Trib or Gufo don't bring their A game, yeah, sure, it's a horse I wouldn't talk anybody off from. But again, I can make some sort of an outsider case for probably 2/3 of this field, and yeah, I think does Temple make sense? Of course he does. I think there's definitely a case for Temple, but again, there's you can make those kind of cases for a lot in here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably just see the race. I think the top 3, Adamo, Tribavon, and then Gufo win this race probably 75% of the time. So, I mean, after that, yeah, maybe you could make some arguments, but I guess I don't think this race is going to produce a bomb personally.
I guess it's a race that if it produced a bomb, it wouldn't really shock me. I don't expect it to. I think one of the top 2 probably wins this 50% of the time. But I think there's my thing was from the top 2, and I'm saying between Tribufan and Gufo and sort of the rest of the field, I don't think it's a massive chasm. So, I could see a 6-1 winning this right about as much as I could see a 25-1.
Okay, I follow.
Yeah, I guess if I'm trying to articulate if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
PTT says he's 4, 3, and 8. So he's also on Tripithan. He likes Temple. He's also on the 8. 8's getting, man, this 8's going to be carrying like 500 pounds on
I would say with all
Saturday.
this love, this 8's going to go off at 5-1 or something.
Yeah, maybe I'm not that smart. I mean, if PDT landed on it, and that man, I don't know. I mean, he can't really eat sushi properly. How can I expect him to, you know? Yeah, Matthew's saying he thinks there's a lot of possibilities in this race, which I think is kind of what you were saying, Mark. Like kind of like if the favorites don't fire, like it's basically anybody's game, you know?
Yeah, and that was my sort of take. And I guess there probably is some sort of a structure here you can take advantage of that, some sort of an AC type structure. Okay, Gufo and Trib are my A's, and then I have a really small saver ticket where I'm skinny other places, but effectively buy the field and try to go price fishing. It's probably dilutive inherently long term, but there is a structure that you can take advantage of that kind of thing.
See you boys next month. We are about a month away.
We are about a month away, and I will make sure that they stock up on soy sauce in Saratoga.
We'll have to call them in advance.
Yeah,
I'll call every sushi joint.
That sushi joint has it by the gallon.
Anything else on that race? I think we pretty much beat that one to death, and Tripithan's gonna go wire to wire and win. All right,
yeah, I'm good.
All right, Grade 1 Haskell, mile and 1/8, the crown jewel of the Monmouth meet, and oh boy, you get the return of Bob Baffert with the 2 Taiba 7-5. You get Jack Christopher stretching out 3-2, and then you get my boy White Abario. You got Cyberknife. Then you got a bunch of long shots in here. So, Mark, I'll let you start.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of blown my mind when I've been looking at this race because all I hear on Discord and all I see on Twitter is how Jack Christopher is going to win this race by 15 lengths. And he's going to absolutely destroy this field, and it's going to be, this massive blowout and yada, yada, yada. And I just don't see it. I mean, I think Jack Christopher is a very, very, very talented horse. I just don't think he wants to go this far. And I realize he's never done it before, and you're always, but the thing is, you're going to take 3-2 or maybe shorter on a horse that's doing something for the first time. I like Jack Christopher, but I think I like him more as a 7 furlongs horse or maybe a 1 miler. And I guess where I get with this distance thing is he has, romped Crazy Fig at 6 furlongs, stretched him out to a mile. He won, but much more competitive races, shortened him back up on the Woody Stevens, and I think that Woody Stevens, and it probably came back as such as the best race of his career. My guess is he really, really wants 7 furlongs or a mile, and so I sort of wanted to go other places, and I think you have, you obviously have Taiba shipping out. Still yet to be seen if Taiba can run outside the state of California. And some of these, Bob does tend to ship well and whatever. And I realize the Kentucky Derby is, sort of a race that you tend to toss out on horses' previous performances. So Taiba is interesting here, but again, just on connections, I think this horse gets way over bet. And the horse I kind of landed on my top pick, and God, I'm hoping Caleb isn't also on the same horse, is the 1 Cyberknife.
No.
No? Good. Excellent. Cool. I wanted sort of the other horse. I think Jack Christopher and Taiba both end up crazy short. I don't think Cyberknife is the most likely winner, but he's a horse that does like to get to the winner's circle. He's probably not as talented as these, but at least I know he can get the distance. And he's a horse that Matt win was a fairly nice win, and I think he's probably on the right path to a nice fall campaign. I think Cyberknife is super interesting in here, and I feel like I have less unknowns going there. Again, I'm not going to talk anybody off anybody else in this race, but that's kind of where I landed for my top choice.
I'm going to be honest with you, Mark. When we were kind of like talking about other races and the whiskey started flowing, I kept on thinking about this race. And, I originally marked Cyberknife with a question mark, but I'm like, you know what? I think I might like Cyberknife the best in this spot. Like, I just think that the price is going to match up, I think, well enough with, I think Jack Christopher is the best horse in this race. Now, I'm just going to say best horse in this race.
Agreed.
I don't
Completely
know about the distance, and I mean, he's gotten the mile pretty well, so I would think that the mile and the eighth isn't going to be too difficult. But I mean, Munnings, I don't know. I I have no idea what's going to happen, and you're going to have to take a short price. But we've seen Cyberknife has run very well routing, and I mean, honestly, you cross out that Derby, which you generally cross out everybody's Derby because it's just a fucking shit show of a race, and I don't know. I mean, I think the horse kind of fits here. Now, I haven't looked at any other figs but Briz, so maybe the horse is just way too slow. But I don't know. I kept on thinking about Cyberknife, kept on coming to Cyberknife, and I don't know. I think that this might be a good spot to zag. I honestly, I don't know what to do with Taiba. I have absolutely no clue. I mean, maybe he just embarrasses us all, but and then Jack Christopher on the stretch out. I literally stared at White Abarrio's PPs for about 20 minutes before the race, just trying to figure out a way I get to this horse. And I mean, I don't know, maybe he needs exactly a mile and the eighth, but then what happened last time? I mean, he couldn't beat a turf horse. So I don't know. I think Jack Christopher is the best horse in this field. Am I going to use him as an A? Maybe, but man, Cyberknife really just he just like checks a lot of boxes for me. He's got me really interested, and the fact that Caleb doesn't like him, maybe it's another box to check. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably would be, but I think you guys are out of your fucking mind with Cyberknife. I don't think he has a prayer in this race. I mean, he was balls out to beat, wait for it, Howling Time, whose best win to date has been in the optional claiming 100 in the sloppy sealed track at Churchill. I mean, come on. And then rattle and roll, like, absolutely not. I think it's a two-horse race between Taiba and Jack Christopher. Josh, I would have respected you going back to White Abarrio because I think he has an outside shot in here, but not fucking Cyberknife. So to me, I do agree with you guys on Jack Christopher. Jack Christopher, Jackie's Warrior, they both have the word Jack in them. They're both sprinters. I think all that logic holds pretty well. This horse is not bred to go 9 furlongs. I think talent has probably carried him around a one-turn mile. I also think his record is maybe a little flattered by who he's beaten up on. I mean, how many times can you bury Papa Cap and people think you're the greatest horse in training right now? I don't understand that. We already talked about Mark Casse, so we don't got to go down that road. For me, and I feel dirty saying this, but I think Taiba wins this by 5 lengths. I think this horse is going to be breathing fire and going to have all the snake venom in the world. And Bob Baffert's return to glory, giving the middle finger to horse racing. Baffert absolutely dominates the Haskell historically. I mean, he won it. Was it last year with Authentic or 2 years ago? I mean, he wins this race all the time. And I think that Taiba is an extremely talented horse. I was against this horse in the Derby because I thought this horse was taking on way too much, way too soon, way too fast. Getting back into the Baffert barn, freshening up, getting a bit of a layoff, and then coming into a much smaller and softer spot. Yeah, I think we'll get to see the good version of Taiba, and I think he could be really special.
Oh, man. Nick Feldman saying Cyberknife won't hit the board. But
so I guess we haven't talked pace dynamic here. Jack Christopher's got all the speed in the world. He's got a ton of early foot, but so does Taiba. Is there a scenario here where these two hook up and go dumb on the front end? Because that was my other sort of thing. I realized Taiba has passed other horses, and Taiba definitely has some more ability to rate. I just think Jack Christopher hasn't found a horse that can go with him early yet. Is there a chance that Taiba is that horse that can go with Jack Christopher early? The two of them get a little dumb on the front end, comes apart, and you get a American Pharoah and the Travers sort of setup.
I don't think Taiba's going to go. I mean, I think if a horse is going to try to go with Jack Christopher, it's going to be Howling Time or White Abarrio, maybe the Chief Speed on the outside, who probably isn't fast enough. But I would be amazed if they try to send Taiba to duel or even try to secure the lead. I mean, unless Jack Christopher totally blows the break and then nobody else goes. I mean, yeah, Taiba has the speed to take a leading position, but I think they're going to stalk.
Nick Feldman with the old adage: 2 horses don't make a race fall apart.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I would tend to agree. 2-horse speed duels don't ruin races, but 3-horse or more usually do.
I mean, honestly, if I thought that there was going to be some type of pace scenario here, well then sign me back up on the White Barrio train. But I don't know. I don't see it that way. I don't. I honestly I think I was just kind of lazy here. Like I went. I think Jack Christopher is the best horse, but you guys got me thinking. Matthew Bickey, saying that that we're too logical, really hurt my feelings. So I think I need to reevaluate my. I'm
I
turning.
don't think
into
he's
Mark.
talking to you. You picked Cyberknife.
Oh, well, that's illogical.
So right now, offshore, Tyba's 2-1, and Jack Christopher is 4-5.
Okay,
So, yeah.
at that point, I would take Taiba at those odds.
Yeah, I would say, and by the way, my point, Matt, was to what you just pointed out, was that I've seen situations where 2 short-priced favorites who are both need-to-lead types beat themselves into oblivion and set up a closer, and I've seen that happen. Again, a third horse definitely does help in the mix there. I've seen it happen quite a few times.
I don't know. So Nick Feldman's got a little pace scenario. He says Howling Time on the lead, Jack Christopher right off, Taiba on the rail in the pocket. Jack Christopher will first run, Taiba will run, circle and pass, win by 3-4 lengths. Jack Christopher fades and White Barrio flies late. So
I mean, I realize Holland Time has speed, but does he have go with Jack Christopher kind of speed, or are we hoping that they slow Jack Christopher down early because he's going a little longer? Is that the kind of the play there, or the thought process there?
I mean, Briz doesn't exactly have Howling Time very fast early. So
I mean, there's a difference between natural ability and intent. They very well could go with him, maybe. But from what I'm seeing as far as products I look at from a pace standpoint, I don't see him making the lead. But again, I'm also not the best pace handicapper on the face of the planet. Never tried to argue that I was. Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I think he may only have one way, and they may go suicidal. So there's your third horse to create a potential, collapse.
I like this race though because it answers questions about 2 horses who I think could be very good. Taiba, I mean, is he just like a California specialist? I mean, is he really as good as he showed in those 2 starts? You get the answer to that, I think. Even if he doesn't win, I mean, you get to see how he runs. And then Jack Christopher, I mean, is he going to be a threat for, the Breeders' Cup Classic, for the Travers, for these other races? Or, is he going to be a horse that can't outrun his pedigree and needs cut back? So I think we get 2 pretty cool answers to some very interesting horses. So it's a nice race.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think there's definitely some questions going to be answered here because we know a little bit more about what some of these are. And again, maybe Taiba is just a freaking monster. So, or maybe Jack Christopher is really a, more classic distance horse than I thought. Yeah, I've been wrong before, once or twice.
Or maybe Cyberknife is up and coming. Caleb's like, no, we're not going to learn that.
I don't play Monmouth, as y'all know, but I also always have it in my mind that it's a notoriously speed favoring, specifically inside speed favoring track. I guess that may aid the chances of Jack Christopher if he does get out there on the lead, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, Andy, or wrong one. Andy's saying is this an all race, and I think it's absolutely not.
No, I do not think it's an all race. I need 3 in here, and I think I have this covered 95% of the time.
But I think to Matthew Bickey's point, he's playing for that 5%.
Hey, no, I'm mad respect. People who can successfully structure tickets in a way that they take advantage of a couple of, massive outliers from a price standpoint and can spend a very little amount of money to get really big scores. I have all the respect in the world for people who do that. Our buddy writer Dave is somebody that I've seen do that on multiple occasions. Hit pick sixes on $10 tickets kind of a things. And I know you do that sometimes too, Josh. You structure in a way that you're not looking to eat chalk. You're looking, hey, I'm only going to score if some of these prices come in or some sort of aberrant pace dynamic collapses. But when you do score, you get big payouts for that. Mad respect for people who do that.
Actually, I think
But I will say from Matt Bickey's standpoint, I think it really depends with that play style what kind of ticket structure you're playing. We all pick on Caleb for the fact that he'll come out and pull these like crazy long shots. We have no idea how on earth he gets to them, and he'll have two of them he'll have two 25-1s in a pick five, but then he'll leave off the logical 7-5 who wins and knocks him out, and that's a Caleb structure. So I think if you're somebody who's playing a daily double, a pick three, and you're going to build around prices like that, man, that's a great structure. And people like that, I mad respect for people who can do that. I am not one of them. But if you're playing, the more races, the more of a reversion to the mean you get, and the higher chance of a couple of chalks coming in. And so you have to balance that out with how you utilize those prices.
and Matthew, I know you're a big tournament player, so maybe this name might ring a bell to you. But Mark really kind of structures his play style really around a guy like Noel Pink. So if you've ever seen Noel Pink and the way he plays tournaments, that's how Mark plays.
But I beat him today. I beat him. I out chalked the chalk master.
Uh, did you guys get a chance to look at the Molly pitcher at all?
I glanced at it, yeah.
I did not. Let me quickly glance at it.
Yeah, the Molly pitcher was the other race that kind of was pretty interesting here. Um, you're gonna have a field of 7 here. The 3-2 favorite is search results, and this is definitely a spot where I am definitely going to try and beat search results. Um, I'm going to go with the third choice in the spot. I like the 4 Army Wife, and I think Caleb, we talked a little bit about this. I think you kind of just looked at it and you're like, yeah, I guess Army Wife can win. Um, this one I do think that has got an opportunity or a chance to melt down, and I know that Army Wife has been on the front end, but what I will say, if you kind of go back through Army Wife's PPs, Army Wife has only really been on the front end when she's just happens to come upon it. Like, if the pace has been kind of slow, like Brisnet notes, yeah, you see Army Wife here on the front, close to the front. But when the pace gets kind of crazy, like the Black Eyed Susan last year, Army Wife is way the heck back. So I really think it's a versatile type horse. It's got a nice late kick, and with Beth Stream here and search results, I think you're gonna get and actually Shalimar Gardens too. I think you're gonna get a bit of pace on the front end, and I think it's gonna set up nicely for Army Wife here. And if I play anything horizontally here, I think I'm just going to single Army Wife. I think that this is just textbook pace play for me, and I will take my 7-2 and be happy with it. Caleb, what did you think?
Yeah, I think search results is by far the horse here. I thought her effort in the Ogden Phipps may have been the best race I've seen this year out of any horse, filly or colt. I mean, she went head and head and gave Latruska everything she could ask for. Absolutely dusted Latruska, left her in the dust, kicked 2 lengths clear, turning for home, and then eventually got run down by the 2 best closers in the, probably in the filly and mare division right now, with Clairiere and Malafat. I mean, if you look where Latruska finished, she was, let me do the math real quick. I'm coming up with about 36 lengths behind search results. 26 lengths, 26 lengths behind search results. I mean, Latruska just got annihilated, and that's the horse of the division for the past 2 years. So I thought search results ran an unbelievable race despite some incredibly unfavorable pace dynamics. There is a lot of pace in here. That's kind of a concern. but there's also a lot of like maybe pace in here. Like Josh mentioned, Army Wife. I mean, yeah, I mean she doesn't really go to the lead that much, but she's always forward. The same thing can be said of search results. I mean, she's never actually been on the lead. She just kind of runs forward. I think that Pratt's going to be smart enough to let Paco go on Beth's stream. He's going to take up a stalking position, a length or two off. And I think if she doesn't bounce out of that last race, which she does have a chance of doing, I think that the rest of this field's running for second. You're not getting much for price, unfortunately, but I love her getting back to 2 turns. I hated when they cut her back to 7 furlongs over the summer last year. I don't think that made any sense. So finally getting back to doing what she's clearly demonstrated she wants to do, and I think she's the worst to beat.
So, Mark, I'm going to give you like 30 more seconds to look over stuff because I did see an interesting question. I kind of just skipped over it because we moved on to this race and we were making Noel Pink jokes. Dennis C. here asking, how singled will Jack Christopher be in horizontals, you think? He doesn't normally play them, but he's very against them in this spot. Might make a ticket to play game theory. I mean, Caleb pointed out overseas, she's 4-5 right now, or he's 4-5 right now. So I think that's probably going to be the most singled horse in the entire sequence. So I think definitely if you're against Jack Christopher and you have good opinions in the other races, this is definitely a great time to try and play against.
Yeah, I'll be pretty quick here, Josh. First thing, yeah, I basically 100% agree with Caleb. I think Search Results is very much the horse to beat. Her last few have been extremely solid. An improving pattern. It seems like all this year. I don't see no reason why she shouldn't take another step forward here. Like the distance for all the things Caleb said. So I'm not going to get really creative and try to reinvent the wheel. I think I think I would be very aggressive to Search Results. And back to what Mr. Bickey said. Yeah, we actually hung out with Noel when we were out at NHC this year. He is a very nice guy. I got a nice picture with him because two of us seem to play each other quite a bit. And Sheldon was there, and Sheldon decided he needed a picture of the two of us together. So there was some accusations that we might have been the same person.
Yeah, there was actually the reason we took a picture is because I said that we have not seen both Noel Pink and Mark in the same room together, and unfortunately there is photographic evidence. He says, "Do we know Davin?"
Davin, yeah, I don't know Davin. I don't know. That's not one I know. But
my best handicapping friends. Yeah.
It's funny because I also play a lot of tournaments, Matt. So, but I don't remember your name or having run into you. But it could be just way too many names in my brain. They go in one ear and out the other. But I mean, Josh, I know you were talking about Army Wife here with that sort of pace dynamic sort of a play. What do you think about somebody like a Bonnie South, another horse that should be coming from a little further back, but is a horse that she hasn't really put it together since in a while. It's been a while since she's made the winner's circle, but this doesn't seem to be this is a distance she does real well at, and I think you're going to get quite a bit better than that 3-1. I would assume. I mean, at 3-1, I have no interest in her, but. I just don't see any way she ends up at 3-1 at post.
You think she's going to be longer?
Oh yeah, I think she'll probably be. I wouldn't surprise me if she's double that.
I think at longer I'd be a little bit more interested in, but I don't know. I thought 3-1 for a horse that almost always gets there was just way too short to take, and I just thought Army Wife was a little bit more of a. I guess more of a proven horse, or at least recently, is recency bias has won more recently, and I think just the fact that Rosario gets aboard again, I mean he did ride her pretty aggressively in that Fall City, but basically every other race, he's taken her back, and that's kind of another reason why I kind of looked at Army Wife in that spot. But
doesn't it kind of feel like Bonnie South was supposed to run last time? I mean, even if she wasn't supposed to win, with the pace setup she got, she was still beaten by 6 lengths by Search Results. Like, she didn't run a step.
It does feel like last time was the time, and it feels like maybe she needed one, or you could kind of make some excuses, but you had to assume that she was supposed to fire big her last out. Yeah, no, I agree with that, Caleb. I really do. But again, I'm not sure what happened, or if that was the target race, or who knows. I tend to be somebody that gives them a bit more of an excuse, but I agree with you.
Charles saying that Bonnie South last race was good, even tough, or I think even though had Pratt as jockey and stiff the horse. Yeah, I don't know. Like that race, you would have think that would have made up a ton of ground, but I mean, still ended up fourth by 9 lengths. Like, I don't know. I also needed Bonnie South last year for just a boatload, and she just came up just short. I think it was that Royal Flag Latruska race.
But Bonnie South can be pretty argued that she has a case of the hangs, and she just never quite gets it done. I mean, she's got 7 seconds and 4 wins, so that's a horse that it does seem to hang a little.
No late headway.
Yeah, that's the comment on Bonnie South's last out race. I saw that as well, Matt. And again, maybe as a 5-year-old, she's just not as interested in this horse racing thing. Again, some of her better figures from her her 4-year-old campaign would be major players here. You wanted to see that step forward in the last. You didn't. I don't know if that was a jock situation, just Pratt not getting the horse. I would be a little inclined to give her one more chance.
Charles thinks that Pratt dropped the crop as well, but I don't know. 9 lengths, maybe if she finished like fourth by 5 lengths and dropped the crop, maybe okay. Hey, maybe you get an extra length or a length and a half or something off that, and maybe it looks a little bit better. But I don't know. Although some horses just need it. Anything else on this race? I feel like we kind of talked this one to death. So one of these horses we didn't talk about is going to win easily.
I mean, if you're a sheets player, you got to like the 5. I don't see it, but the 5 definitely fits in the sheets, and I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, well, last race though was. Don't you think that was just like a? Well, I don't know. I'll tell you, man. I mean, the Brisnet figs match up pretty decently. I mean, search results the only one that's got a better fig. And then
5 and the 1 both come out of what the Thoroughgraph has is an extremely quick last race, and the 5 actually has a couple races prior to that that are also very fast. So they make this race seem a lot more competitive than my eyes would tell me that it is.
Yeah, and then the 5. I mean, there's an argument to me that she may not have brought her best in the last with the offgoing.
Charles saying to watch the replay. So I'm going to mark that. I'm going to mark that for you, Charles, and then we'll talk about it Saturday. Don't mind my real messy trying to write with this. Yeah, Matthew also likes a 5. Certainly want to hit the board. His tops is the 4, but he thinks the 5 and 6 can win. Man, Matthew, you and I, you're saying that we're too logical, but I don't know, Matthew. You and I were on a lot of the same horses today, so there might be the pot calling the kettle black, Brian's just been busy with just life stuff. He had a surgery recently, and he's just had some stuff with work and everything. So he's just been busy. He's still very much a part of us, though.
He's still not breathing the best. We've mentioned that in stream. He had some nasal surgery. He's still got some. I know I don't think he likes how his own voice sounds because he's still not breathing quite right. So we're letting Brian get healed up, and then hopefully we'll see him. Next week, couple of weeks.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's gonna do it for us. I think we covered most of the stuff that we wanted to talk about, but as usual, or at least as we've been doing the past couple of weeks, Saturday morning, hour before Saratoga first post, so 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, we'll be doing our little stream again. Just kind of like I said, recapping. We'll be talking about weather and stuff, and hey, if we get some scratches, maybe talk through this early a little bit. I think first post for Monmouth is 11, so maybe we'll look at some of the early races at Monmouth live as well, and just kind of hang out and talk some of the races for Saturday. So if you guys got questions or anything like that, we'll be happy to answer them, and we'll have basically all these cards capped and ready to talk a little bit more. But I don't know, Mark, what do you got going on this weekend?
I am chilling with some friends at the track on Saturday, and it's going to be 97 and humid, so I will be a miserable human being, but I'll tough it out. And I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens Sunday. I wish it wasn't quite so hot. I'm hoping that they do run the races. I would be surprised if Saturday cancels, but yeah, they're calling for 97 and thunderstorms on Sunday. So if that is the case, it wouldn't shock me if they did cancel.
Yep, and Steven's always a chance to cancel for sure.
Yeah, hopefully not, but at least we have Del Mar.
Yep, we got Del Mar and Monmouth, so
Del Mar.
or on Saturday at least. Sunday we only got Del Mar because, as Caleb says, Monmouth only exists one day a year.
Yeah, I mean, one can only Monmouth one day a year. I just more than that is
Yeah, Brian is a good guy. So
Brian's a good guy.
He's all right.
Caleb, what about you? You got anything going on this weekend?
Nothing too much. I'm gonna be Saratoga, Del Mar mostly. I'm really excited for Del Mar. Del Mar's hard, especially with these big fields. So it is a track that I kind of struggle with, but I love. So I'm excited they're back though. Gives an alternative to Saratoga, especially if they get canceled for heat or if it comes off the turf or anything. But yeah, I'll be looking at both Saratoga and Del Mar all weekend. I might glance at Monmouth for the All Stakes Pick 5 or whatever they have going for the Haskell. Just taking a shot against Jack Christopher maybe, but yeah, that's about it.
And I think what Mark, are you like joining the Midnight Society over there? Because you got even darker.
Did it get even darker? Well, I mean, it keeps getting darker outside, and my power is they're saying 10:30 now. So
God.
It just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. All my neighbors are on. Everyone else is on except for there's a little street that I live on. There's 2 houses, us and the one behind us. And yeah, so it just keeps getting darker and darker.
So you're playing Little House on the Prairie tonight?
Yes. Break out the candles,
All right, yeah. Well, for shout out to Brian, Matthew, bringing him up. Hopefully he recovers quickly. Once again, we'll be live 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, talking through some of the Monmouth early card. Maybe look at a little bit of Del Mar and Saratoga, and then we'll catch you guys next week. So catch us at ontherwronglead.com. Buy a t-shirt, mug, or any other kinds of weird shit we got on there. You can go ahead and catch us at wrong_lead on Twitter. Obviously, all of our Twitters are here, and we will catch you guys later.